Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends. Welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch, and it is another very slow week in the secondary market. All the attention right now is on Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. That's where everybody's money's going. The set just came out on Friday. You're not going to see any of those cards in today's video since they haven't been out for a week yet. We don't have a baseline, but they should start showing up in next week's video where applicable. Another thing to keep in mind is Commander Masters is right around the corner. A lot of players are staying away from cards they feel could be reprinted there. Anyway, since I don't have any cards moving up to discuss this week, we will again look at cards moving down in the video as well. But we're not going to look at anything unless it's moving up or down at least $2. That's our threshold. Quickly before we get into it though, just a couple things. I do want to say thank you to 4 viewers who gave super thanks tips for last week's video. Alpal8319, Miguel Almendras, Todd Branch, and Whip. Thank you all for your support. It just means so much. I really couldn't do this without viewers like yourself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And one more thing, remember if you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use the Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, you can order Lord of the Rings products there, but you can also pre-order Commander Masters products now too. Plus, they have a whole lot of other things on their website. Remember, if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. Also, whenever you use the Heroes promo code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated. So thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. We'll begin with the Standard Legal Spotlight. These are the Standard Legal cards moving the most this week. We have one moving down, one moving up. The one moving down is Sheoldred the Apocalypse. It goes down $277 to $70.25. This is the most expensive card in Standard, and it continues to see a ton of play there. But this is in multiple decks and other formats too, including Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. Some players think this may get banned in Standard since Wizards has made it clear that they plan to ban more cards now that the Standard rotation has been pushed back. They feel with a bigger card pool that will allow newer cards to shine. And this getting banned could definitely shake things up. And the card moving up is Adeline Resplendent Cathar, but this is the copy from the March of the Machine Cavalry Charge Commander deck. It goes up $3.15 to $10, bringing it closer to the price of the other copies. Now this card does see a good amount of play. In Standard it's in Esper Legends, Mono White Aggro, and more. Pioneer it's in various human builds and Selesnya midrange. Modern it's also in human builds. And remember, Copper Coat Vanguard from March of the Machine The Aftermath has really pushed builds with humans in Standard, Pioneer, and Modern. That of course is part of the reason this card has remained hot. In Commander, aside from being in Cavalry Charge and in fresh builds around Sidar Jabari of Zhalfir from there, this has also been getting more play in builds around a card from March of the Machine The Aftermath, Sigarda Font of Blessings. Additionally, this was mentioned in a Tolarian Community College video this week, as a card you might want to play in Modern with Flowering of the White Tree from Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. That might have brought a little more attention to it. That quickly brings us to the Pioneer Legal Spotlight. We have 3 cards moving down, 1 moving up. Let's take a look. Jace Vryn's Prodigy from Magic Origins goes down $2.40 this week to $18.36. So this got hot recently since it is part of a new Pioneer Jeskai Ascendancy combo deck. We've talked about it before. The deck is performing well in the format, but the card is still moving down because it was just reprinted in the From Cute to Brute Secret Lair Commander deck. Metamorphic Alteration. This goes down $3.08 to $5.02. This spiked aggressively last week, which led to more copies coming out of the woodwork. That's not unusual. We now see some retraction. The reason the card jumped to begin with was because it was part of a new Pioneer combo deck. The deck runs this along with a card from Phyrexia All Be1, Archfiend of the Dross. Basically, the idea is you play Archfiend, then you use Metamorphic Alteration to turn one of your opponent's creatures into Archfiend of the Dross without any oil counters. On their upkeep, then, they would lose the game if they don't have a way to get rid of their newfound Archfiend. The deck is performing well, but we will have to see if it can endure as players and sideboards are more prepared for it going forward. Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. Last week we saw the Planar Chaos copy dropping. This week, the one from the list is down $3.03 to $37.49. The Time Spiral Remastered copy is down $3.74 to $34.11, and the Ultimate Masters copy also down $3.74 to $36.53. You do see this in Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, and Commander. The card gets a ton of play, but these copies are moving down now that it has been reprinted in the Realms and Relics subset in Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. Just a quick note, the subset will not make the cards legal in Modern if they were not already legal there, but there are some spicy reprints in the subset that are getting a Lord of the Rings treatment, including this card. Realms and Relics cards are found in collector boosters and non-foil, and in draft set and collector booster displays as traditional Surge foil box toppers. And finally for this section, the card moving up is Elvish Mystic. This is the time-shifted copy from Time Spiral Remastered. It goes up $2 and a cent to $10.20. So interestingly enough, this was just reprinted in the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth Elven Council Commander deck, but this retro copy is a little dry online this week, and it is still moving up. The card does get a lot of play in Pioneer. It's in the popular Nykthos Ramp and Gruul midrange builds, among others. In Modern, you see this in Selesnya Elves. It's also in a ton of Commander builds, including new ones. Like I said, it is an Elven Council, and it's in fresh builds around the front-facing Commander from there. Galadriel Elven Queen, but it's also been in some other new Commander builds too. I've seen this in decks around Yargle and Multani for March of the Machine, as well as Tyvar the Bellicose for March of the Machine, The Aftermath. That brings us to the Modern Legal Spotlight. Obviously, Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth is going to play a role in changing this meta. We just don't know in what way quite yet. So there's no cards moving up in this section this week. All the cards are moving down. Let's see what's happening. Gemstone Caverns from Time Spiral Remastered is down $2 to $58. We saw a couple different copies of this moving down last week. The card has been hot since it gets a ton of play in Modern. It does get a good amount of Commander play too, and a little Legacy play. But there is a new printing of this now in circulation. It is another card in the Realms and Relics subset from Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. Painter's Servant from Shadowmoor is down $2.05 to $68. This has been hot recently since Legacy Painter builds have been performing well. This week though, it does retract some. Sword of Feast and Famine. This is the Modern event deck copy. It goes down $2.06 to $41.19. Recently, Wizards of the Coast completed the sword cycle with the Sword of Once and Future. When that happened, there was some additional interest in the other swords, but now this one is retracting some. It is still a very solid Commander card, which may be working against it, as well as some other cards in the video today. You never know, something like this could show up in Commander Masters, so a lot of players are holding off on purchasing cards like this until they know what's in that set. Skithiryx the Blight Dragon from Double Masters. This was moving down last week. It goes down another $2.17 though this week to $19.99. Good Commander card, but it was reprinted in the Multiverse Legends subset in March of the Machine, which has caused the previous copies to cool off. The First Sliver from Modern Horizons. This goes down $2.21 this week to $26.99. We know that one of the Commander Masters Commander decks is called Sliver Swarm. This could be reprinted there, so the card is a little cold right now. If it isn't reprinted in that product, however, you may see this start to jump again. It is a great Sliver Commander, and it's also in the 99 of some builds there too. Cavern of Souls. The Avacyn Restored copy goes down $2.47 this week to $54.28. The one from the list is down $3.48 to $55.13. So you know, this gets plenty of play in Modern, Legacy, Vintage, and Commander, but this also just got reprinted in the Realms and Relics subset in Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. That reprinting has made the previous copies cold over the last couple weeks. Doubling Season. The Battlebound copy is down $3.97 to $86. The Modern Masters copy is down $4.07 to $86.25. Copies of Doubling Season have been turbulent. On one hand, a new set just came out, and as usual, there are plenty of cards that would play well with this. The card could even be a good upgrade to a couple of the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth Commander decks. Food and Fellowship, as well as Elven Council. But on the other hand, this is a huge Commander card, and many think it will see a reprint in Commander Masters. And the last card in this section today is Ragavan Nimble Pilfer. The March of the Machine Multiverse Legends copy is down $2.77 to $45.65. The Modern Horizons 2 copy is down $4.64 to $49.79. Here's a card that was cold last week too. The new copy from the Multiverse Legends subset is finding its price point, but it's also led to the original copy cooling off. It still is a popular Modern, Vintage, and Commander card though. And it is time for our salute to all Eternal formats, but mostly Commander. This is our Eternal Spotlight. Now, of course, all the cards in this section won't be legal in all Eternal formats, but none of them are legal in Standard, Pioneer, or Modern. Most of these cards are moving down, but there are some moving up. First, we have Vampiric Tutor from Visions. It goes down $2.01 to $51.72. Great Vintage and Commander Tutor, but it was recently reprinted in Dominaria Remastered. Sylvan Library from Eternal Masters. It goes down 203 this week to 2669. Great Legacy, Vintage, and Commander card. But this too has cooled off since its reprinting in Dominaria Remastered. Mana Vault from Ultimate Masters. It goes down 203 to $45. This does see a lot of Vintage and Commander play, but copies of the card have been soft ever since it was reprinted in Double Masters 2022. Pearl Medallion from Commander 2014. It goes down 206 this week to $35.24. Great card for mono white Commander decks, but players are steering clear right now since this cycle feels like it is overdue for a reprint. Some think it could show up in Commander Masters. Archfiend of Despair down 237 to $49.18. Solid Commander card and combo enabler that has yet to be reprinted. Again, some think it could make an appearance in Commander Masters. Intuition from Tempest. It goes down $247 this week to $171. This did jump last week. We're just seeing some retraction this week. However, the Judge Foil, which was also jumping last week, is still moving up. Let's take a quick look at it. Now, maybe this is due to higher grade copies on sale currently online. However, it goes up $19.96 to $920.02. Mind Over Matter. This is down $249 to $60. This reserve list card spiked aggressively not too long ago, but it has been moving back down over the last few weeks. The reason it did spike is because of the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth card, the One Ring. Mind Over Matter and the One Ring make a 2-card combo that will let you draw your deck. Maybe a bit expensive casting cost-wise for a CEDH combo, but I'm sure you're going to see this attempted at the Commander table. Although, as more time passed since the One Ring's reveal, this has cooled off from the initial hype. Perhaps this sees a bump again though as the One Ring gets into circulation. Reign of Daggers from Portal Second Age down 252 to 1447. This doesn't get much play to speak of, but it has been a hot card in the past since until recently there was only this one printing. But like I said, until recently, this has now been reprinted in the list. It was in March of the Machine. It is remaining there for Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. Force of Will from Alliances down 260 this week to 83.42. Last week the Eternal Masters copy was moving down. It is a staple in Legacy, Vintage, and Commander, but it was recently reprinted in Dominaria Remastered. Olran Frostfang from Commander 2019. It goes down 278 this week to 16.33. This is retracting after some recent increases that came when the card began to see some additional Commander play. Now it is cooling off. Cover of Darkness down 293 to 38.43. This is yet to be reprinted, and it is a great Commander card for tribal builds running black, which makes it a prime candidate for a reprint. Some think it could show up in Commander Masters or in the Commander Masters Sliver Swarm Commander deck. Tropical Island from Revised. This is down $3 to $539.99. Small percentage decrease here, but I still think it's interesting to note because, like I said, for the last few weeks, these revised dual lands have had a hard time finding their price point since the 30th anniversary edition was announced and subsequently released. You're going to see more of these going down in today's video. When it comes to gameplay, of course, they see a ton of play wherever they're legal. Demonic Tutor. The Ultimate Masters copy is down 262 to 46.24. The Dual Decks Anthology copy is down 288 to 46.36. And the Strixhaven Mystical Archive copy is down 312 to 47.88. So this is a highly played tutor in Vintage and Commander. Copies of the card have been hot recently, but now in the shadow of Commander Masters, a lot of players are backing off this card in case it does get another reprint. Deflecting SWAT down 338 to 53.86. This cycle is highly played in Commander, but this and another card from it are moving down this week. Could the cycle see a reprint in Commander Masters? Some think it will. Another small percentage decrease here. Underground Sea from Revised is down $340 to $734.10. Fierce Guardianship is down $361 to $56.39. Like Deflecting SWAT, this sees a lot of play in many Commander builds, but again, many think it could see a reprint in Commander Masters. Tundra from Revised is down $364 this week to $499. Ancient Tomb, the Tempest copy is down $282 to $76.95. The Ultimate Masters copy is down $381 to $70.01. This remains cold too. It is a big Legacy, Vintage, and Commander card, but it also did get reprinted in the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth Realms and Relics subset. Drechsler Praetor's Voice, the Commander Anthology Volume 2 copy is down $227 to $55.46. That one only comes in foil, as does this one. the Commander 2016 copy down $353 to $37.90, and the Double Masters copies down $388 to $37.05. Well, it is a wildly popular Commander, and it's in the 99 of a number of builds there, but these copies have been cold since Atraxa was reprinted in the March of the Machine Multiverse Legends subset. Gilded Drake, this is down $3.91 to $248.08. This reserve list card sees some Commander play, but it has been cold. It has now dropped to where it was back in December 2020. Reanimate, the copy from Battle Royale, down $3.96 to $15.88. This harder to find copy was a little inflated, but it has cooled down some, in part thanks to a new printing of the card. It is found in the Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, Hosts of Mordor Commander deck. Still though, it is a great Legacy and Commander card. Mox Opal, the Modern Masters 2015 copy is down $2.98 to $75.91. The Scars of Mirrodin copy is down $4.06 to $84.57. This is retracting after some recent increases, and some think this could show up in Commander Masters potentially. It is in a number of Commander builds, and it is a solid Legacy as well as Vintage card. Mana Crypt, the Mystery Booster copy down $370 to $178.09. The Eternal Masters copy down $4.96 to $184.96. So these two copies are moving down, but there is a copy moving up, which you're going to see in a few moments. Remember though, Wizards just sold more Mystery Booster Convention Edition boxes in the Festival in a Box Minneapolis 2023 Secret Lair, so there are more copies of Mana Crypt out there in circulation right now. When those boxes got into people's hands, copies of the card did move down some, and this trend is continuing this week, at least with these two copies. Some players also think this could be one of the cards reprinted in Commander Masters, time will tell. When it comes to gameplay, it's in a lot of vintage builds, including Paradoxical Outcome and Mono White Initiative, for example, and it's a big Commander card in a lot of different builds. Wheel of Fortune from Revised, down $5.15 this week to $299.92. Solid Commander card, but just like the Revised Dual Lands, this has been very turbulent since the Magic 30th Anniversary Edition announcement and its subsequent release. Speaking of which, Taiga from Revised, down $5.81 to $379.99. Scrubland from Revised, down $6.27 to $326.50. Show and Tell from Urza Saga, down $7.72 to $48.27. So this spike last week due to being in Legacy decks pushed by Atraxa Grand Unifier. It's in Sneak and Show, Omnitel, Sneak and Breach, and sometimes Reanimator. This week though, the card retracts from that spike. Bayou from Revised, down $8.53 this week to $4.28. Sarah's Sanctum, down $8.63 this week to $254.64. This is in Legacy Enchantress and in a number of enchantment heavy Commander decks. Maybe this bumps up again when the Commander Masters Commander deck Enduring Enchantments creeps closer, but right now the card is pretty cold. Badlands from Revised is down $18.63 this week to $379.43. And yeah, there are some cards moving up. Polar Kraken up $216 to $413, but this doesn't currently see much play to speak of. It looks and feels like a reserve list buyout. Grim Monolith, this goes up $265 to $262.79. This is in Legacy Mystic Forge combo. It's also in Vintage Paradoxical Outcome, and it is a solid Commander card in a lot of different decks. Mox Diamond from Stronghold up $3.03 to $631.30. In Legacy, this is in a lot of places, lands, Naya, as well as Golgari Depths, 4-color Loam, and Sneak and Breach. It also shows up in a variety of Commander builds. Additionally though, this gets play in the pre-modern format, and that format has had a bigger impact on card prices recently. Alright, here's that copy of Mana Crypt that I mentioned earlier, but it is the Media Book promo giveaway copy, which is harder to find in high grade. It goes up $6.02 to $336.25. And finally today, our last card is Sliver Queen. This goes up $8.02 to $335.83. So this reserve list Legendary Sliver was spiking, then it cooled off and dropped quite a bit last week in fact. Now it is back up again. It is a solid Sliver Commander and in the 99 of Sliver builds too. Of course, the reason it did get hot to begin with was because of the announcement of the upcoming Commander Masters Commander deck, Sliver Swarm. In case you missed it, here's the front-facing Commander that has been previewed already, Sliver Grave Mother. Alright, that's going to do it for another weird episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. So anyway, if you're picking up Lord of the Rings, good luck. Hope you find that one of one, or at least one of the really rare Soul Rings. Until next time, though, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.